Well, 10 months left until Canadians head to the polls for the next federal general election, but the campaign is already underway. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau is hoping to unseat Stephen Harper as Prime Minister, but with some party members complaining about certain nominations and the race tightening between the Liberals and Conservatives of Ontario, well, there's a lot at stake here for the Liberals. And Justin Trudeau joins us now on the line for a year-end interview. Good morning.
Good morning, Rick.
Let's get right to it. You promised open nominations in every federal riding during your run for the Liberal leadership last year, yet some members now allege you forced their preferred candidate out. I speak notably about Vancouver South, Barge DeHaan, forced out of the race because you favor someone else. How do you respond to that?
Barge chose to withdraw from the race, and I am proud of the way the open nominations have been running. We've got over 300,000 members across the country. That's up from only about 50,000 at the beginning of the year. We've seen a tremendously positive impact. We had 122 of our candidates just join us in Ottawa over this past week and showcase us the extraordinary team we have. And Harge, our soon-to-be candidate in Vancouver South, is an honest-to-goodness Canadian hero, a decorated veteran, 3 tours in Afghanistan, and an extraordinary individual who will be a great contributor to our parliamentary scene and our party.
You can say that Barge DeHaan voluntarily withdrew. However, Liberal members who supported Barge in Vancouver don't agree. In fact, they're quitting the party, not because they believe Barge was forced out, but because of ethnic politics.
Well,
how do you reconcile that?
Well, I think there's a lot of people playing ethnic politics as they're throwing things around. I think what is clear is actually that the Liberal Party has been very, very strong on the process. Now, because it's so competitive across the country, because there's such a great energy around the Liberal Party, there's an awful lot of people who want to join, want to become MPs. And unfortunately, when it doesn't work out for someone's favorite candidate, there can be hurt feelings. This is politics. But the fact of the matter is, if you actually look at the numbers, there's only a handful of individuals who've actually stepped down from the Liberal Party of Vancouver South since April. So I wouldn't give too much credence to the people who are complaining very, very loudly about, honestly, a Canadian hero in Harge.
Okay, recent polls show your party and the Conservatives are pretty much neck and neck in Ontario, and as much as we hate to admit it out here, that's where elections are won and lost. That province basically gave Stephen Harper a majority back in 2011. What's at stake in Ontario for you?
Well, I think the stake in Ontario is reflected across the country as well. I mean, people are frustrated with this government. They want to see a strong and credible alternative. And through a whole bunch of difficult by-elections, we've demonstrated a capacity to take the fight to the Conservatives and take back seats, but also demonstrate that we are the alternative. And I'm really looking forward to the general election. There's no question that there's going to be a lot of work still to do, but that's what we've done from the past 2 years. And the fact that people so blithely overlook the fact that we're in a distant third place in the House of Commons right now. We don't have anywhere near the kinds of resources, parliamentary resources that other parties have, and still we are the ones who are competitive and holding Stephen Harper's feet to the fire as the election approaches. It's a very good place to be, but yeah, a lot of hard work ahead.
Are you totally discounting the NDP and Tom Mulcair?
Not at all. They've got a serious approach, and I know that people are going to look carefully at who can form the next government, because the direction that Canadians have seen their country go over the past 9 years of Stephen Harper is dismaying to the vast majority of Canadians, and that's why we're putting forward a very serious, very credible team to implement a very real plan to improve the economic outcome for middle-class Canadians and those who wish to join.
You're still ahead in some polls in Ontario. That slipped a little bit. How do you account for that?
Well, I don't worry too much or comment on polls, because as we've seen regularly over the past years, polls can be wildly misleading. What is incredibly encouraging for me, like I said, 300,000 members, strong performances in by-elections, great money coming in from thousands of donors who are stepping up and realizing that they can participate in getting not just a different government for this country, but a better their government, and that's what we're focused on. Listen, there's still a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to coming out to Vancouver next week to meet with a lot of people and build the kind of future and team we need. But we're feeling great about how things are going.
Let's move on to something else that has your party's been grappling with in recent days, and that's the allegations of misconduct by two Liberal MPs. You now have an investigation underway led by lawyer Cynthia Peterson, who's looking into the allegations. What are you hoping to discover with this investigation?
Well, I think what this entire situation has highlighted is the need for a process on Parliament Hill. I mean, it is a particular workplace, but it is a workplace, and people need to know that they can do their jobs free from harassment and intimidation, and that's the big thing that we're finally seeing some movement on. Now, the Liberal Party is going to have to make a decision around these individuals, whether they return to the party, whether they stand as MPs for us in the next election, as candidates for us in the next election. And Ms. Peterson's professional investigation and analysis of what's happened will help inform the decision that we have to make as a party.
Certainly, sexual harassment in the workplace has been discussed a lot with two high-profile cases, certainly with the CBC and Mr. Cosby in the United States. But was it fair, in your opinion, to suspend these two MPs when the allegations haven't been proven yet, and the two NDP MPs haven't formalized their complaints?
Oh, as soon as they came directly to me and expressed and shared with me the story, I had a duty to act. I mean, that was a direct complaint to a leader other than their own, and I had a duty to act. For me, this is 2014. It's not time to brush things under the rug. It's not time to try and handle these secretly behind the scenes. This is about demonstrating that we are going to take allegations like this very seriously, that we are going to protect and encourage anyone who comes forward with such allegations, and we're going to change the culture around Parliament Hill and how people behave.
Finally, I want to ask you about a major issue here in British Columbia: pipelines. You've expressed your opposition to the Northern Gateway pipeline project, but you showed some interest in the expansion of the Trans Mountain pipeline. Now, where do you stand on that now, given the recent protests on Burnaby Mountain?
Oh, as I said from the very beginning, any project, Trans Mountain included, needs social license. And the big challenge that everyone is facing right now is we have a government that has so demonstrated a callous disregard for any environmental responsibility and actions that Canadians no longer have any trust in the processes that are set up. And the social license that needs to get developed is even harder to get, as it always was, and should be hard for pipeline companies to develop. It's become almost impossible. So I'm certainly hoping to lead a government that will demonstrate a level of responsibility and accountability towards protecting the environment and protecting Canadians in moving forward with any natural resources developments, and that's something that we've completely seen this government fail at.
But how do you balance the need for resource development, which is fundamental to the economy of this country, with the environmental concerns and the social license?
Well, first of all, you understand that they're not in opposition. Creating a strong economy that respects and protects the environment is not a utopian or irrealizable goal. That is what Canadians are asking for. That's what our trading partners around the world are asking us to work on doing. And the fact that this government has shown zero leadership on something that a lot of Canadians, including me, are very, very passionate about, that is protecting our environment, is actually hurting both our economy and our environment. And that's an example of the lack of leadership that Stephen Harper has shown over the past 9 years as he goes for a fourth consecutive mandate.
Justin Trudeau, thank you for your time, sir.
Always a pleasure, Rick.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too.
Justin Trudeau, leader of the Liberal Party of Canada. So what do you think of what you've just heard? You can let us know and talk back at 604-662-6690 or email us early at cbc.ca.